Larry, to finalize, that's a quick one. Trump's nominations. How do you see those things coming to reality?
With the passage of time, I think most of them will get through, if not all of them.
So just a second, just for me to understand, these nominations are not final. They need to go through some other process.
Yeah, they have to be approved. They have to go through. The Senate has to give its approval for some of them. Okay. The selection of Michael Waltz as National Security Advisor, that doesn't have to go for Senate approval. But Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, Gates for Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard for Directorate of National Intelligence. Was it Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense? All of those have to go and receive Senate confirmation. They have to be confirmed by the Senate. There was a lot of concern early on because while these are not traditional neocons, at least with respect to Israel, they're all Zionists, Christian Zionists, basically, because none of them are Jewish. That's the other funny thing. They're sort of there by secondary Zionists. There's a lot of misinformation out there about that somehow Trump is beholden to and been bought by Miriam Adelson, the widow of Sheldon Adelson. People forget that in 2015-16, Trump was making fun of Marco Rubio for being a recipient of so much money from the Adelsons. Basically referred to him like an organ grinder monkey for the Adelsons. Well, now they're saying, "Oh, Trump got this $100,000." Apparently, she promised $100,000. She only gave $100 million, but she only gave $30 million. It's not an inconsequential amount, but it's $30 million is $30 million. Let me offer one interpretation of what Trump's doing with his cabinet selection. He is putting in these people who will be acceptable to this ardent Zionist crowd like Adelson. I mean, Marco Rubio's her boy. So that way they can't accuse Trump of not trying to do what they wanted him to do. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, none of those people are going to be driving the car. All right. Let's think of this like a family of six that, and you got even 2 or 3 teenagers, and you're going out and you're going to drive from Rio to Brasilia, or from Washington D.C. down to Miami. Dad gets in the car. Dad's driving. That's Donald Trump. Remember back when Mike Pompeo was CIA director, and John Bolton was National Security Advisor? Pompeo was more, in my judgment, is more dangerous and more disloyal on every regard than Marco Rubio could ever be. And similarly, Mike Waltz is nowhere near the kind of threat that John Bolton was. And yet, though Bolton and Pompeo were in those controlling positions and told Trump, don't do anything with North Korea, don't reconcile with North Korea, what did Trump do? He went to North Korea. He basically told them, screw off, I'm doing what I'm in charge, you're not. So Trump has made it very clear that he is a president that is not interested in going to war and starting a war, including with Iran. Even though you can make the case that Marco Rubio wants to go to war with Iran, and Michael Waltz wants to go to war with Iran, and Marco Rubio wants to go to war with Iran, and Pete Hegseth, they all want to go to war with Iran, but Donald Trump doesn't. When push comes to shove, Donald Trump's going to make the decision, not them. And he has demonstrated that in his first term as president against far greater odds. I mean, good Lord, the deep state had infiltrated. He foolishly chose people that were not loyal to him, were not provenly loyal to him. This time, he's choosing people who have some proven loyalty, especially with Gates. Gates is, and Gates hasn't been afraid to speak his mind against Trump on occasion, but has stood by Trump in critical times. Same with Waltz and Tulsi Gabbard's come around to it. So I'm not, I think a lot of this alarm and hand wringing right now over the appointments is because there's nothing else going on, at least inside the United States, until January 20th. So they got to have something to talk about. So let's create.
We need to entertain.
Yeah. Let's just create some drama.
Yeah, exactly. There was one analysis that I watched from Alexander Mercury's that I found very interesting about Marco Rubio. That was that by getting Rubio, he releases a seat on the House, which will be filled with someone
in the Senate.
In the Senate, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
That will be filled by someone that he can appoint. Well, someone that is connected to him can appoint. And at the same time,
Governor DeSantis can appoint Laura Trump, his daughter-in-law, who's currently the co-chair of the Republican National Committee. So that very well could happen.
Yeah. So there is some 4D chess going on there.
Oh, yes. Look, I find I don't want people to come away and think that I'm, the new chair of the Donald Trump fan club. But regardless of what you think about Trump, whether you think he's the devil incarnate, a fascist, Adolf Hitler reincarnated, Joseph Stalin, whatever, step back and admit the facts. Donald Trump was, while his father was well off and would be considered rich, it was not wealthy. It wasn't billionaire money. And Donald Trump somehow, and with his Wharton Business School education, was able to make decisions and do things with respect to real estate and marketing that other people didn't. And in the course of that, became a billionaire. Then, as a billionaire who at the time, oh man, all the celebrities loved him, especially the politicians, Republicans, Democrats, they couldn't wait to offer him fellatio, okay? Because he would write a check. Bill and Hillary Clinton, oh, gimme. Mitt Romney, gimme. We'll take your money, Don. Yeah. And Trump worked the system. And then when he decided to run for president, and Barack Obama, he'll never be president. How'd that work out? Tough guy.
How'd that work out for Clinton?
So here's Trump, who surmounts all of these obstacles and becomes president, and then faces an unprecedented lawfare attack. And both internally within his own people in his government who were undermining him and betraying him, and the entire Democratic establishment and the media establishment all coming after him and spreading a lot of lies. I know if that had happened to me, I would be so pissed off. I'd be thinking to kill people. I mean, I would be ready to kill people. Yet throughout all of this, Trump somehow kept his sense of humor and kept his fortune intact and beat back the entire deep state efforts to destroy him. Now, say what you will, but that's not something that a stupid person, a person who's ignorant, a person who's weak, does. That it reflects, maybe there's a bit of luck in there, but it reflects a level of toughness and intelligence. So, with respect to his selections for who he wants in his cabinet, the only conclusion I can draw is he knows what he's doing, and I don't think he has a death wish to fail because he's gone through too much to do that. And he's acknowledged, at least I found it interesting with Joe Rogan interview, he admitted, hey, I made mistakes. There you go. That's a sign of somebody who's got some sanity. I'm like Kamala Harris or the Clintons or Obama. They never make mistakes because they're blessed. They're blessed of God. They're the chosen people.
Are chosen by the chosen.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Yeah, Larry, this was a short yet extremely dense show tonight. The amount of information that we got here today was amazing.